out, right? Egads. Okay, so, okay, better. Phew! Okay, hold on. Grab this silly camera again. Okay, so what I was telling you was, I guess I have a bad cord again. I usually use 2 Canon cameras and my iPhone is what I like talk to you from, and it will not connect. Not to save my life. I've been trying for a half hour. Anyway, show must go on. So this might be the only time you get to see this cute little fascinator. Absolutely appalls my husband, which makes it that much more fun for me. I even put the little New Year disco ball in there. So you're just going to watch me sew, and we're going to talk, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me. And I hope everyone else's New Year's is off to a slightly less stressful start than this. I'm going to put the camera back up, and we will get started. Okay. Okay, I'm taking my hat off too, because I can't see. So today we are going to be, you can see my cute little fan. We're going to be doing easy envelopes. But before we get started on that, I wanted to show you one thing, because I know a lot of you have been with me through many of my adventures here. And last time we were live, I was talking about my trip to India. And so I wanted to share one of the photos. It was the most amazing experience. And I know that, you know, for people who live in India and American Indians, and this is common, like my son has been to many of these celebrations, but this was my first, possibly my only. It was, I know, Brenda, right? It's fun to annoy my husband. I told him he'd never make it as a Brit, because I told him I looked like I was ready to go to a royal wedding. Anyway, speaking of royal looking weddings, this is a picture from my son's Hindu wedding in India. That was 2 weeks ago. I just wanted to share. It was the longest flight I have ever been on. It took me 33 hours to get there. We had a couple delays, 2 plane changes, but we made it. The flowers that are hanging, so we're standing in front of like this platform thing, and all of those flowers are jasmine. And they are just strung together. And I just can't even imagine having that job. And then there's also roses and I think some pink carnations that you can see hanging down. And they had that in the entryway, and they had that on this platform where the ceremony took place. It was, I think, 2.5 hours, and I was told that it was pretty fast. Very different than a American, what I call an American wedding, or I guess a more traditional Christian wedding, where you go, you sit, you watch. It's about a half hour to an hour. You leave, you go have a party. These ceremonies can be up to 10, 12, 13 hours long, depending on all the different prayers and things that they do. There's lots of chanting. It was really fascinating. I just really enjoyed it. But anyway, I wanted to share it with you. It was super colorful. My very first sari, I had fresh flowers. The lady came and put my hair in a bun, and I had fresh flowers around the bun. It was so much fun. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, but now we will get back to what you came for, which is sewing. So these are just super cute little fabric envelopes, and they're perfect for gift cards, or you could put little love notes. You could use them to, my mom never liked to carry a wallet, and so she always took all of her credit cards and put them in a rubber band. But I could have made this for her, but sadly she passed away a few months ago. So they would be perfect for doing that, just, you know, whatever you want. You could add a tab to it, kind of like the other mini wallets tutorial that I have on my YouTube. But this one I wanted to make look like an envelope. So that is today's goal. The first one I made, the test one, was this one, which was fishing. And then I thought, well, I don't love the size. So now it was a little bit big for a gift card, number one. And it wasn't as efficient for using fabric. So let me grab my first little board here. I designed this so that you could make 2 envelopes out of 2 10-inch precuts. And you can call them whatever you want to call them. Happy New Year, Deborah. And everyone, of course. She just said it in the chat. So I just wanted to show you that I designed it to be like that because I know I and many other people, we like to buy these precuts. I think Moda calls this a layer cake. Is 10-inch a layer cake? I can't remember their trademarked names because I'm not supposed to use them. But sometimes you just end up with a few, right? Like a few left. So I wanted to make a project that you could use these for. And then there's also multiple ways that you can close them. As if you follow me much, you know I'm a big fan of these cam snaps, these little plastic snaps, because you can do all different colors. Or you could do a little piece of Velcro, because I'm also a big fan of using what you have in your stash. So either way. So as I said, my computer keeps going to sleep. You can use 2 of the precuts. And then the other thing that we're going to need is some lightweight interfacing. This is what I used, this Pellon featherweight interfacing. And again, it's because I had it. So you don't want to do anything that's too stiff. And while I love to use fusible fleece on almost everything, it would be a little bit too thick for the envelope. So you want something that's going to give it a little bit of body, but not be super crazy. Oh yeah. Then I'm also going to show you how to do them plain. What did I do with my, I lost one already. Okay. So we can do them where it's just plain on the one side. I'm going to show you how to make a little stamp. And I'm going to show you a couple ways to make an address if you want it to really, really look like that. Okay, what is so the pre-cut package, it's basically 10-inch pieces of fabric. And most fabric companies sell fabric for collections, like quilting collections. And this would be more in a quilting store or online, not a, Joanne Fabric doesn't sell as many things like that. Riley Blake calls it a stacker. We have 5-inch stackers and 10-inch stackers. Moda trademarked the fun names. I think it's like, one of them's a layer cake. Somebody tell me in the chat. What are the other ones? It's like the jelly roll is the 2-inch strips that comes like rolled up. So it really looks like a pastry. Then there's layer cake and then there's something else. I can't remember. But this one is my honeybees and flowers, please. 10-inch squares. You can also use scraps of fabric. So if you just have fabric scraps, you're going to cut them 5 inches wide by 10 inches long. And then we're going to use a little bit of interfacing, whatever you have, or this works great. Then Velcro or snaps or buttons. If you want to do that, I didn't do a sample, but you could do a buttonhole and put a little button. If you love doing buttons, you can really just go for it there. And then I also, if you're on my email list, I will email this to you, or you can go and sign up and get this for free. Let me grab that link for you. This is a template. Charm packs. Yeah, that's what it was. I think the stress of my camera not working got me all off kilter. So anyway, you can get this free if you sign up for my newsletter, or I will be sending this out probably tomorrow to anyone that already gets my newsletter. And these are the templates. You can also make them yourself if you don't want to give me your email address. There will be a link to watch this replay of this live event if you need to watch it again. But I'm going to be using these templates and showing you how to use those. So that's the basic things that we need. So if you're working from 10-inch squares, what I would do is I would take and cut a slightly smaller than 10-inch square of the interfacing and fuse it to the back of one of the pieces. It doesn't matter if you fuse it to the lining or to the outside. In general, I tend to fuse to lining just in case the fusing doesn't stay and it gets a little wrinkly looking. It's on the inside of a project versus the outside, but that's just me. If you do a really good job fusing, you shouldn't have an issue. And then you would take that and cut it into two. So I already used half of this 10-inch square to make this one. So this one has the interfacing on it, and this one doesn't. But because we are getting close to Valentine's Day, because as you know, if you go shopping, the Christmas trees come down, the hearts come out. There's like nothing in between. So we're gonna work with pink. All right, I'll show you two different things. So these are two pieces, 5 inches by 10 inches. One has the interfacing on the back, one doesn't. So what I do, what a lot of people will do is they'll cut both pieces, right? Like they'll cut both into a shape and then sew around. I don't do that. I especially don't do that when it's a curve, but I don't do that for this either, because we can cut it and sew it and then cut it, because we're going to have to cut the corners anyway, right? Like we're going to have to trim the corners. So what I do, move this, is I take the one that doesn't have the interfacing on it, so the thinner fabric, and I fold it in half. Well, actually, I lied. I don't do that. First I put this top template at the top. Now, if you're using a directional fabric, let me find that directional fabric again. So if you're using a directional fabric, this needs to go on the bottom. And it feels weird. It feels like it's directional tear, it should go at the top. But it needs to go at the bottom, because when you fold this, that's the top flap that's going to show, and we want it to be the correct direction. And we want the inside to be good, and we want the back to be, well, the back's a little bit upside down, but that's okay. But if we do non-directional, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put that there, make sure that point is lined up with the top, and then I'm just going to cut both of those angles with my safety rotary cutter. So I'm a good example. I do love it. Gotten used to it now. Okay, so we have that point, and then I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm going to take the bottom and I'm going to fold that in half, and I'm going to put the fold on the fold, match that bottom, and we're going to cut here. Hide a pin somewhere. Let's see. So while I'm going through this, what are you guys doing the rest of the night? Anything exciting? Anybody going out? Are you going to be awake or asleep when the ball drops where you live? Let me know. So I'm just going to cut along there. Oops. So now I have my shape. Now, you can also make these envelopes, and you'll see them online a lot, where you don't cut this shape, you just keep it straight, which is a little bit simpler, but I've lost them all again. It's going to be one of those nights, you guys. What the? Okay. I really like when the envelope looks like an envelope when you open it. I just think it adds a little bit extra, so I feel like it's worth making that cut. But totally up to you. If you wanted to keep that straight, it's still going to look like an envelope when it's closed. It's just going to look a little bit different when it's open. I like to show you all of the options. So that was very easy to cut, as you saw, just 2 templates, get that cut. Or you can also, this one will cut on a Cricut machine. So if you have a Cricut Maker or a Scan and Cut or any other kind of cutting machine and you like to cut fabric with it, you can also cut it with the machine. And if you are a member of my Sew with Tara Reid membership, I already put this in there. There's an SVG file. So you can just, and you, for doing it with the machine, you're going to want to use the one that has the interfacing on it so that it's bonded. I've put it in the membership. There's a video that shows you how to cut it. I'll be posting that tomorrow on my YouTube channel, how to cut with the rotary blade and a Cricut. So you can see it's a little bit more perfect, a little bit more perfectly cut down here. Really not going to make a huge difference. It just depends what you prefer. And if you were making a lot, you might just want to crank them out on your machine. But I just wanted to let you know that that is an option. And then I will also have this written pattern that includes that SVG for sale in my Etsy shop probably tomorrow. Didn't get that done. Back to this. So what we're going to do is now we're going to take this fabric and we're going to go right sides together. This one that has the interfacing. This is, you'll notice that was bigger, right? If you're doing it on a cutting machine, they make the fabric a little bit bigger so you don't have to get it lined up perfectly for the cutting. So I usually add an extra inch all the way around. Let me know in the comments if you have these machines and if that's something you would like to learn more about, using them for sewing and with fabric. Ooh, watching Jessie Stone. Okay. I think my husband and I are going to watch The Jackal. His sister keeps telling us we should watch it. Has anybody watched it? So now I'm just going to pin this right sides together. And we're going to sew a 1/4 inch from the edge of the pink all the way around. Now, one thing that I like to do, and I especially like to show new, like beginning sewists, like if you're teaching someone to sew, or sometimes it's just easier no matter how long you've been sewing. When you have these really tight corners, sometimes it's hard to tell when you're coming this way where that 1/4 inch is going to be. So sometimes I just take a pencil and I line my ruler up a 1/4 inch from the edge. And I just draw the lines on there. Because then I can just sew along and I know that when my needle hits that point, that's when I need to turn. Oops. So that's one thing. It takes, takes a minute to go around and do a couple of these points, but it makes it faster when you sew because you're not, oh, I think that's a 1/4 inch, oh, it's not quite a 1/4 inch, and going back and forth. And this is a tip that my niece really liked when I was teaching her. It gave her a lot more confidence for when she was sewing. She's hopefully. And then we want to make sure we leave a few inches on this side for turning. You can do that on either side. All right, Marina, okay. Helen has a Cricut. Marina has a Scan and Cut. I don't have a Scan and Cut. Hopefully it works very similarly. I will see if I can find somebody that has one. So most of my stuff is going to be Cricut related, but I'm guessing most of the things are going to be pretty similar. So now we're going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm just going to sew all the way around. Camera's working. Just don't get to see my pretty face, my pretty fascinator. And I'm using a walking foot to walking. That's fun. My machine will not for me. I always go back and forth if I know I'm at a place where I'm going to be turning my fabric, because I just want that to be more secure than just with a knot, because it gets a little bit of strain on it when you turn this right side out. All right, so as I'm sewing this, tell me, I can't look until I'm done, but tell me what you would, like, do you think you will try this? Seems like a really good Valentine's Day project to me, which is why I decided we would do this today, so we can all get a jump start on sewing for Valentine's Day. But it could be for other stuff too, so let me know what you think and what you're thinking. Because I know when you see things, creative minds are always thinking like, oh, I could do this with that, or I could do that. And you can see how quick and easy to make those turns because I had drawn the lines on there. Come back here, and then I'm just going to take my rotary cutter and I'm going to cut these 2 straight lines. And then you would just cut these corners, and I like to cut them especially these, I like to cut really, really deep. So come way up here, because that is a really tight point, and if you have too much fabric trying to fold into there, you're not going to get a good point. Regardless, it's still going to be a little bit bubbled. You can see I did my best, but that's just how it ended up. So then I just cut along here. Deep cut that one, but then you also need to, hopefully you can see the stitching there, it's kind of light on the pink, you need to trim into this point as well. So I usually just go straight at the point, make sure you don't hit the stitches, and then come in from either side, and then if you want to, you can just cut some of that fabric off, and that's going to make that part turn better as well. Inside corners versus outside corners. I'm going to double cut. I pretty much double cut all of my corners. And then we're just going to turn that right side out. Oh, Debbie can't handle the static. I don't know if that was static or if it's the mic moving or what, but I kind of have to have it moving with me. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. I'm always open to improvement. I know sometimes when I'm filming and editing, I'll like hit it and it makes this awful noise. So I apologize if I'm doing that. I'm trying not to. So this is too pointy to use as a turner because it will go right through that corner and push the fabric out, especially since I cut it so close. So I'm going to use this little let's see. Let me see if I can find out. I had a fuzzy thing. It always falls off. See if I can find something. Excuse my head. I see my head on the camera. What foam are you thinking? Foam foam? Sewing foam? I'll try it. Hold on. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try putting a piece of fusible fleece. Hopefully you can still hear me and it's better. So tell me. Hold on, I need a stick. I can't. So if you can hear me now, hold on, you know what, I bet this is it. Is that better? I bet it's better. I bet it was my fan. I forgot to turn it off. So I'll keep turning this. Heather, I'm waiting to hear. Does it still sound like I have a window down in my car? Or are we doing better now? All right, I'll just keep going. I couldn't find that filter thing. It's not bad. Okay. I apologize. This is the beauty of live events, you guys. You gotta be with me to troubleshoot. Now I'm gonna, okay. Is that better? The window is still down. There's not a window. I turned off the fan. Okay. I now have the microphone lower on my shoulder. So after you turn this right side out, you would press this, and I have already done that, so I'm just going to bring that up. Okay, so a couple more supplies here. It's not better. So sorry. This is stressing me out. It's going to be great fun to watch a replay of. Sorry, everyone that watches a replay. Sorry, everyone that's here. I have it way farther than me. It's just crackling. I can't restart. Okay, hold on. That's really going to crackle. Okay. Whoops. What to do. Okay, I'm going to turn my mic off. I'll try and reset the mic. See if Okay, sorry, Heather. I don't know if it closed captions automatically. Okay, anybody that still has their sound on, is this any better? Now it looks really loud again. I need a tech crew. One day I'll get a tech crew. But for now, we have to muddle through. Now we're going to do a little bit of ironing. And because we're just ironing little pieces, I've decided to use my little Cricut Mini. Yay! Okay, I'll try not to move much. I'll just redo this whole tutorial. It'll be this, and then I'll do another one. So I'm going to have this be the inside, and the pink be the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it down a 1/2 inch. So if I put my ruler, it's like right there. I don't want to iron on this ruler. And this isn't rocket science for how far it is, but it's designed to be a 1/2 inch down. And I'm going to press that. Okay, I'm going to try and stand really still. It's because it's moving on my shirt. Can I distract you with my new ring? Look at that. It's a fun zipper. I found it on Temu. All right, so we've folded that down. Now we're going to open that back up, and you can see the fold here. We're going to fold this up so that these 2 points are just below that fold. And we're going to iron. Now we're going to open it up, and we're going to have the front on top. And I like to have these little stitch lines, so it really looks like it's folded paper, like an envelope. So we're going to draw the lines for that next. So I'm going to draw a line from this fold to right here on both sides. And I am using one of the pens that they said, the Frixion, that they said isn't for fabric, that might come back if it gets cold, because my Madame Sew ran out of ink. I'm having a great day here. But we're just going to wing it. Okay, so we're going to need to sew those, but before we do that, I want to show you the stamp that I lost. Okay, there's the button. This is not a big space. I don't know how I lose things so easily. All right. That. Okay, this is ridiculous. Oh, here it is. So for the stamp, I cut out a 1-inch piece, and I just cut it around the flower. And I fussy cut that where I just took my ruler and I put what I wanted to be on the stamp and cut that 1 inch. Then I took a white piece of fabric. It's about a 1/4 inch bigger. You can make it even bigger because we're going to trim that after we sew that on. So we're going to take all this to the sewing machine at the same time. So I just wanted to show you that. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is the address. So on this one, for the address, I just took a piece of fabric. It's, I think, 1 inch by like 2.5 inches. You can just kind of wing it on your envelope and decide how tall or big you want it to be. I put a little bit of interfacing on the back so that it had some stability, and then I just sewed squiggly lines. And then I just sewed that on. Easy. But now I want to show you, you can also, if you have a cutting machine, you can use heat transfer vinyl. So I cut this for you out from with my Cricut, and it's heat transfer vinyl, and you can put your heat press right onto the coating, the plastic coating. And so I'm going to be using this for today's envelope. And I think you just press down for like 10 seconds. Usually there's a guide you can look at online. We're in wing it mode at this point. Let that cool off a little bit and then peel that off. So this would be fun if you were making it for somebody in particular. You could do their name, but it's going to give a little bit of a different look because it's going to say for you, and that's going to be the stamp versus this one. So now we're going to go back to the sewing machine. I'm going to kind of place this. This will be a little bit smaller once we trim that white. But I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to put a little pin in that. So I remember, well, I don't need to. I can remember where it is. I can move it without moving it. We're going to sew this on. We're going to sew these lines, and we're going to sew this square onto this white. And I'm going to do very slowly. So hopefully I won't. There's nothing I can do about the sewing machine. Alright, so you should be seeing my sewing machine. And now I'm just going to do a really quick stitch. I'm not going to change the thread color, so I will see the white stitching on this. If you wanted it to blend in, you could change it to whatever color matches. Whoops. And I'm not worried about getting a bird's nest on the back because it is going to be sewn onto the envelope and nobody will ever see the back. I don't lose these little scissors that I have by my sewing machine because see, you got a nice bird nest. I have a magnet that I put onto my sewing machine, and these scissors always go back on the magnet after every use because otherwise I would never know where scissors were. Now, hopefully you can see this little stamp. And so it's just sewn from the edge, and I want to make it look kind of cute and fray that edge more. So I'm just going to use my tweezers and pull some of these threads out to fray it. I just like the look of it. And it's not going to fray beyond where you sewed it. Or not much. You might get a little pull or two. But I think it's a cute finish. I can do more later. You get the idea. So this one's really good. You can see that top edge. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing to get this For You sewn on here, but this time I am worried about having a bird's nest of thread because it will be on the inside of the envelope. So I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to hold the thread. I'm going to put the needle down, pull it back up, give that a little tug, grab my tweezers, and pull that bobbin thread up. Now I'm going to hold both of the threads in the same hand, pull back, and then I'm going to knot, or you can go forward and back while holding these threads. And that is going to prevent that nasty little knot of thread that sometimes happens when you start. And then I always cut that off before I go the rest of the way around. Ooh, I went a little far over. I don't usually fray my address. I don't know, different rules for the address than the stamp. I don't know why. And now we're going to sew these two lines, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I always start at the fold because if you do end up with a little bit of a bird's nest, it's going to be so deep into your envelope and it will be caught in the seam when we sew this together that nobody will ever see it. But I am going to pull my threads up anyway. And these lines as well, you can either do something that's going to stand out more to really give that paper look, which is what I usually do. Or if you want it to just blend and be a little bit more subtle, I could have used a pink or something that matches. Oops. We're going to go back quickly and cut the right. Oh, good. Little details. Now, pinking shears. Love them, love them, love them. How far out that is. And then I'm also, because I used a heat erasable ink, and again, we want to pull that bobbin thread up because this will definitely show. Oops. Almost done. We have like 2 more steps. All right, so we have the stamp and U on here. So now we're going to fold it back up. Here, I think I'm done with that. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I think the audio should be back. Somebody tell me if it's back. Yes? No? Maybe? I don't know sign language. My audio. I've turned it back on. I'm hoping I turned it off and turned it back on. Okay, good. We're back. Okay, I think this is the most problems yet. So I am going to use cam snaps on here. And I used tonight as an excuse to buy little hearts. Look how cute that is. They make stars too. So cam snaps, they are plastic snaps made in America. Helen, I did not get a press yet. I'm still using the hand press that came with my original kit. She and I were talking about that. So I'm going to put the heart here so that the heart goes on the outside and then the snap goes there. So what you want to do is you want to put the one that's going to be on the outside of the flap on first. So I turn it like this. And then I kind of put, let's see, and I put the female side, the outie belly button. Let me zoom in. Okay. So female side, outie belly button. The main thing is we want to make sure that this is not going to get on top of this seam allowance. So we need it to move in a little bit. So I'm going to place that there, centered. It's about 1/2 inch down, but I usually show people how to figure it out based on the seam allowance instead of just the inches, just in case you sewed a little bit further in. Now I'm going to take this awl, which is super pointy. I call it a sewing ice pick. And I'm going to put it right in the center. And then I'm going to push it through the fabric to make the hole. Now I'm going to take my heart. I'm going to push it through on this side. Okay, I guess restarting my audio for the 3rd time was the charm. And with circles, you don't have to pay as much attention to the direction, but with a heart, you want to make sure you have it facing the way you want it. And I want the point of the heart facing the point of the envelope. I don't want it to be like spun like that. So you want to make sure you have that, oh, stop spinning. You have that lined up nicely. Then you're going to put the other side there. The top goes into the black part. And then this white rubber part goes onto the outie or the innie belly button, the male or the female side. And then I just always flip and double check and make sure it's going to be nice and straight. And then you just squeeze. And when you squeeze, what that does is it takes the point. Can you see the point on that? There's a point, plastic point, and it smashes it. Not sure what it's focusing on. Okay. So it smashes it in there, and that's what holds that piece of the snap together. So now that one's done. We have to get this other side done, but we need to make sure it's going to be lined up with this snap. So what you do is you just fold it over and you push down on the snap. That creates a little circular dent in your fabric. Then you're going to take this awl again and you're going to put it right through the center. Now, I often will do this before I sew this together, but I didn't because, I don't know, I'm not thinking totally straight because of all the technical issues we're having tonight. But it worked out well because it made it easier to sew straight around there. So you just have to make sure if you do it this way that you don't push this all the way through the front of your envelope and you just do it through the back. Then you're going to take the circle piece, put that on the inside, have it come through that hole, push the fabric down, put the innie belly button / male piece of the snap on there, get it lined up again, sitting in the center of that black thing. Okay, we're going to squeeze. Nice and smashed. And now we have a snap. Ta-da! How cute is that for Valentine's Day? I have a couple threads coming, so I don't know. When I have little threads, I'll pull them to give it kind of that edge. You can leave it like that. But that is how easy it is to do. And you can get the template if you sign up for my newsletter, or I will send it out to you by tomorrow. if you're already on the newsletter, I'll send you the link and you can just download it. Or if you want it right now, you just go fill out the form. Let me give you that link again. You just fill out the form. It'll find your name and address, email address in my system, and it'll just automatically send you the thing. You will not have to do a opt-in confirmation thing again. So, all right, so there is that. Then I'm going to give you one other link, and that is, because you know I like to tell you about this. I'm working hard on this. I'm excited about my membership program, which is Sew with Tara Reid. Going to be lots of fun new things coming in there this coming year. I feel like I have been getting organized and getting my stride to get some of this stuff together. And so everything that's on my Etsy shop, all the printed materials, there's going to be some exclusive things that are going to be on there as well. All right, Niall, are you gonna make some of these tonight, or are you gonna wait till tomorrow? She is ready to go. Love it. Anyway, you can try it for $1. Jump in there, see what you think. It's just getting started. More will be added, and it's a lot of fun. The next thing we are going to do, I decided today, is my next live on YouTube is going to be on January 14th, 1 month from Valentine's Day, and we are going to make heart quilt blocks. So if you've never quilted before, this is a great block to start with. If you've quilted before, it'll just be fun, and hopefully the tech will not be as annoying. I will find something to go over my mic again, and I will make sure I have 5 backup cords for everything. I have backup cords for my other cameras, but not for my phone. If you have never quilted before and you want to try, my theory is if you're going to try quilting, the last thing you should make is a quilt. It's kind of like I want to try to run and I'm going to do a marathon, right? So you just want to try it. So we can try this quilt block, and then I can show you different projects that you can make with the one quilt block. That just gives you a taste of quilting, a taste of the process, and then you get to make something that you like in the end. So this is great for Valentine's Day. That quilt block will be great for Valentine's Day. And I wish everyone a very, very happy new year. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for letting me know when you could and couldn't hear me. And again, thank you for your patience. So happy new year, and I hope to see you next year. Have a great evening.